Welcome to another episode of Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise Retirement Podcast, where certified financial planner Lauren Sherman shares thoughts on having a healthy mind, body, and spirit, an abundance of wealth inside portfolios and out, and lessons learned from clients and mentors over the years.
Thank you so much for joining me today on another episode of the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise Retirement Podcast. It has been a long-time vision of mine to create an investment firm with the best financial planning for retirees in the state of Iowa. That's a bold mission, and only our clients can say if we have reached it, but we are always striving to improve and offer more value, with the goal of always being better today than we were yesterday. I know that sounds a bit cliche, but we truly believe this and follow through with this mission by evaluating new technology that can make life easier for our clients, studying for new certifications to broaden our knowledge, particularly when it's specific to retirement planning, and by having a genuine curiosity to absorb as much as we can about our profession of financial planning. We believe that to be the best stewards of our clients' finances, it's important to combine this thirst to improve with the bedrock of time-tested financial principles that endure from decade to decade. However, with over 15 years of experience in this industry, it's become clear to me that financial planning isn't at the top of the list for most retirees. So, what is? Time and time again, my clients say family, faith, and health are top priorities, with recreation and finances rounding out the top 5. With some soul searching and deep introspection into how we can model our firm to reflect this, I started to look at these one by one. The finances part was relatively easy, as I could just do a deep dive into as much retirement-focused education as I could. This led me down the path to learn and complete several retirement-related designations, join a weekly tax planning study group, and listen to more financial podcasts than there are hours in the day, at least according to my wife. After finances, I looked at recreation. This is an important part of where retirement time will be spent, so we talk about how retirement dollars will be allocated for entertainment, vacations, and hobbies. All of this gets built into our planning. For many retirees, talking about recreation is the easy part. For others, retirement is a new animal altogether, and it's a journey to rediscover what brings them joy. Our plan is to incorporate more events based around clients' hobbies and interests, and also to ask the right questions so our clients are spending their time intentionally. Next, I tried to tackle the topic of family. We're not here to get in the middle and be the family counselor, of course, but we do ask lots of questions to help retirees figure out where family fits into their plans. Some of this is more formal, like determining power of attorney, health directives, and estate planning for future generations. Other questions seek to understand how involved you'd like to be financially with kids and grandkids, whether vacations are family vacations or couples vacations, and so on. Next, it was on to faith. This is a tough one to cover, and not everyone wants it to be a part of their planning. That's okay, but I didn't want that to stop me from helping those who do want to incorporate a biblical-based retirement plan. For this, I committed to certifying as a CKA, which is the Certified Kingdom Advisor designation. I also attend a weekly class at Hope Church and participate in a monthly study group with other financial advisors where we discuss financial planning and biblical ideas as one. This is truly a lifelong effort, and I'm certainly no expert, and I imagine I will always feel a bit like a fish out of water since it's impossible to know everything when it comes to faith and the Bible, but I will continue to learn from my studies and clients alike. And finally, last on the list, health. The well-being of retirees is so important because it drives everything we just talked about. Without our health, we may struggle to help others and be a servant to our faith. We likely won't have the time or opportunities to be with family for as long as we wish. We won't be able to enjoy our hobbies or vacations if we are in pain or if we're confined to our home or a facility. And it's hard to enjoy a lifetime nest egg without a healthy outlook. In fact, expensive prescriptions and medical bills could eat away at a life's work. Long story short, our health should not just be a side note to our retirement, but instead front and center and planned for accordingly. Let's take a step back for a moment and dive into a short tale. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to meet and chat with some of the leading doctors in the world when it comes to health and nutrition. This has been a tremendous honor, and I've learned so much. One story in particular has stuck with me over the years, and it goes something like this. For years and years, a man had a sore shin each and every day. He would go to the doctor for pain medication and treatment, but the doctor was having a hard time making much progress with the man. Each time that he would feel a little better and the meds seemed to work, he would come in the next week with a sore shin again. At a dinner party, the man happened to bump into another doctor. He thought, maybe this doc can help me out. So the doctor asked what was wrong and asked the man to explain his routine each day. The man replied, well, I wake up around 7 o'clock each morning, and before I head down for breakfast, I get changed for the day. It's the darndest thing. It's still a bit dark and there's not enough room between my dresser and the bed, so every time I bang my shin against the bed frame. The man continued, I must not be getting the right medication because nothing my other doctors have prescribed have fixed the problem. While the above tale gets a laugh from any of us who have trouble getting out of our own way, just imagine how frustrating it would be to be in this man's shoes, in pain every day while the solution was right in front of him. Now, in this man's case, the solution was obvious. Anyone listening knows that the problem was that he continued to bang his shin against the bed frame each day. But this can be a bit like how our modern medicine works today. It's great for helping people with their existing problems, but not so focused on preventing problems in the first place. How many of us have just resigned to the fact that this is the way it has to be? That getting older means our health deteriorates, that we automatically add a few pounds, and that medication is just part of life. Of course, I'm not here to tell you that aging isn't natural or that medication isn't necessary in many cases, but how many of us have questioned the status quo or asked, what are the alternatives? Is it possible that we are a bit more like the man banging his shin against the bed frame each morning? I know I've been that person and probably still am in many areas that I'm working to improve. So this certainly is a judgment-free zone where I'm not trying to make anyone feel bad about the choices they've made or the situation you may find yourself in. Instead, my hope is to ask you some questions that perhaps you've never thought of, to put things into a different perspective and help you explore your options. As a whole, I would say I probably learn more from my clients than they learn from me, in part because they hire our firm so that they can delegate their investing and their planning, not to have us teach them everything we know. It also makes sense that we learn a lot from our clients because they tend to be retirees who have a lifetime of experiences they can pull from. With that same thought, I'm going to continue to lean on those with more experience and expertise than myself, and I encourage you to take a moment to watch the TED Talk linked in today's show notes by health activist, author, and former firefighter and triathlete Rip Estelson. He takes an evidence-based approach to health and nutrition with an emphasis on prevention. This is counter to most standard care doctors, as many people are surprised to learn that throughout medical school and residency, academia focuses on treatment, but very little time is dedicated to prevention and even less on nutrition. If you wish to dive in even deeper, Dr. Michael Greger reviews the top 15 killers in our society. He has several more recent talks than the one I've linked in our show notes, but I'm a bit partial to this one in 2016 since I happened to be there for this talk. At the very least, check out the first few minutes where Dr. Greger grabs the audience's attention with a personal story about his own grandmother and how she had a grim health outlook with end-stage heart disease at only the age of 65. You'll have to listen in to hear the rest of the story. Dr. Greger is the go-to doctor when it comes to preventing and even reversing illness, so much so that he wrote the book on it, How Not to Die. It may not sound enticing, but it's a perfect fit for his dry humor. You can also type in nearly anything health and wellness related into his website and get the most recent studies condensed into bite-sized articles and videos. So I've linked this resource in our show notes as well. And I will close up with my last resource, which is most definitely my favorite. Ashley is a wonderful person, a certified health coach, and an overall wealth of knowledge when it comes to food, cooking, nutrition, and lifestyle. Of course, she's also my wife, so I may be slightly biased. I've linked her website in the show notes as well, where you can find recipes, free resources, and much more. I appreciate you sticking with me on this episode, as none of us like to have our beliefs challenged, whether it's about food, medicine, our financial views, or nearly anything in between. With that said, those who keep an open mind will always stay one step ahead of those who don't. I think the best way to learn and grow is to continue to challenge our beliefs and invite an open discourse. I'd love your feedback on this episode and to hear any new topics or questions that you'd like to see covered in future episodes. You can find my email in the show notes, and of course you can visit past episodes we've covered at healthywealthywiseretirement.com. Be well, and we will chat more in 2 weeks.
Thank you so much for listening and supporting this podcast. If you've enjoyed listening, we would love if you took a quick moment to leave an honest review. Of course, we're shooting for 5 stars, but if you have suggestions to improve the show, we would love to hear from you too. Just click on the podcast name, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise Retirement Podcast, and scroll down to ratings and review. Thanks again for your support, as this helps us reach a wider audience and help even more retirees just like you. This podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only and is not intended as a specific tax, legal, or investment advice. Lauren Sherman is a certified financial planner and co-owner of Integrity Wealth Management, an investment advisor serving retirees in search of their own healthy, wealthy, and wise retirement lifestyle.